From translation, NIV New International Version. This 69th day of the year. Today we are reading passages Deuteronomy 32 to 34. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 1 to 52. Listen, you heavens, and I will speak. Hear, you earth, and I will testify against them. I will make my teaching as pure as rain and distill my words like dew. I will proclaim the name of the Lord. Oh, praise the greatness of our God. He is the rock, his works are perfect, and all his ways are just. A faithful God who does no wrong, upright and just is he. They are corrupt and not his children. To their shame they are a warped and crooked generation. Is this the way you repay the Lord, you foolish and unwise people? Is he not your Father, your Creator, the one who made you and formed you? Remember the days of old, consider the generations long past. Ask your father and he will tell you, your elders, and they will explain to you. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind, he set up boundaries for the peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob his allotted inheritance. In a desert land he found him, in a barren and howling waste. He shielded him and cared for him. He guarded him as the apple of his eye, like an eagle that stirs up its nest and hovers over its young, that spreads its wings to catch them and carries them on its pinions. The Lord alone led him, no foreign god was with him. He made him ride on the heights of the land and fed him with the fruit of the fields. He nourished him with honey from the rock, and with oil from the flinty crag, with curds and milk from the herd and flock, and with fattened calves and lambs. He brought him to possess the land. With his own hands he drove out the nations before him, to drive out his enemies and say, destroy them. Israel made a bull calf at Horeb and worshipped it, an idol cast in the shape of a calf. They exchanged their glorious God for an image of a bull, which eats grass. They made a calf in Horeb and worshipped an idol cast in the shape of a calf. They exchanged their glory for an image of a bull, which eats grass. They forgot the God who saved them, who had done great things in Egypt, miracles in the land of Ham and awesome deeds by the Red Sea. You deserted the rock who fathered you, you forgot the God who gave you birth. The Lord saw this and rejected them because he was angered by his sons and daughters. They made me jealous by what is no God and angered me with their worthless idols. I will make them envious by those who are not a people. I will make them angry by a nation that has no understanding. For a fire has been kindled by my wrath, one that burns to the realm of death below. It will devour the earth and its crops, and set afire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap calamities on them and spend my arrows against them. I will send wasting famine against them, consuming pestilence and deadly plague. I will send against them the beasts of the earth, with their venom and their hissing. Outside the sword will bring bereavement and inside terror. It will destroy both young man and young woman, infant and grey-haired alike. I said I would scatter them and erase their name from human memory, had I not feared the provocation by the enemy, lest their adversaries should misunderstand, lest they should say, our hand is triumphant. It was not the Lord who did all this, for they are a nation without sense, there is no discernment in them. If only they were wise and would understand this and discern what their end will be. How could one man chase 1,000, or two put 10,000 to flight, unless their rock had sold them, unless the Lord had given them up? For their rock is not like our rock, as even our enemies concede. Their vine comes from the vine of Sodom and from the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are filled with poison, and their clusters with bitterness. Their wine is the venom of serpents, the deadly poison of cobras. Is this not laid up in store with me, sealed up among my treasures? Vengeance is mine, and retribution. In due time their foot will slip. Their day of disaster is near, and their doom rushes upon them. The Lord will judge his people and have compassion on his servants when he sees their strength is gone, and no one is left, slave or free. He will say, where are their gods, the rock they took refuge in, the gods who ate the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up to help you. Let them be your protection. See now that I myself am he, there is no God besides me. I put to death and I bring to life, I have wounded and I will heal, and no one can deliver out of my hand. I lift my hand to heaven and declare, as surely as I live forever, when I sharpen my flashing sword and my hand grasps it in judgment, I will take vengeance on my adversaries and repay those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, while my sword devours flesh, the blood of the slain and the captives, the heads of the enemy leaders. Rejoice, you nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants. He will take vengeance on his enemies, and make atonement for his land and people. Moses came and recited all the words of this song in the hearing of the people, he and Joshua son of Nun. When Moses finished reciting all these words to all Israel, he said to them, take to heart all the words I have solemnly declared to you this day, so that you may command your children to obey carefully all the words of this law. They are not just idle words for you, they are your life. By them you will live long in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess. On that same day the Lord told Moses, "Go up into the Abarim range of mountains to Mount Nebo in Moab, across from Jericho, and view Canaan, the land I am giving the Israelites as their possession. There on the mountain that you have climbed, you will die and be gathered to your people. Just as your brother Aaron died on Mount Hor and was gathered to his people. This is because both of you broke faith with me in the presence of the Israelites at the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the desert of Zin, and because you did not uphold my holiness among the Israelites. Therefore, you will see the land only from a distance. You will not enter the land I am giving to the people of Israel." Deuteronomy chapter 33, verses 1 to 29. This is the blessing that Moses the man of God pronounced on the Israelites before his death. He said, "The Lord came from Sinai and dawned from Seir over them. He shone forth from Mount Paran. He came with myriads of holy ones from the south, from his mountain slopes. Surely it is you who love the people. All the holy ones are in your hand. At your feet they all bow down, and from you receive instruction. The law that Moses gave us, the possession of the assembly of Jacob. He was king in Jeshurun when the leaders of the people gathered, the tribes of Israel together. Let Reuben live and not die, nor his people be few." And this he said about Judah. "Hear, Lord, the cries of Judah, bring him to his people. With his own hands he defends his cause. Oh, be his help against his foes." About Levi he said, "Your Thummim and Urim belong to your faithful servant, whom you tested at Massah. With your tempest you tested him at the waters of Meribah." He said of his father and mother, "I have not considered them." He ignored his brothers and paid no attention to his own children, for they kept your word and upheld your covenant. He will teach your decrees to Jacob and your law to Israel. He will incense before you with frankincense and sacrifice on your altar. Bless all his works, Lord, and be pleased with the work of his hands. Strike down the adversaries of his enemies and make his enemies hate him. About Benjamin he said, "Let the beloved of the Lord rest secure in him, for he shields him all day long, and the one the Lord loves between his shoulders." About Joseph he said, "May his land be blessed by the Lord with the precious dew from heaven above, and with the deep waters that lie below. With the best the sun brings forth, and the choicest the moon can yield. With the choicest gifts of the ancient mountains, and the fruitfulness of the everlasting hills. With the best gifts of the earth and its fullness, and the favor of him who dwells in the bush. Let all these rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. In majesty he is like a firstborn bull, his horns are like the horns of a wild ox. With them he will gore the peoples to the ends of the earth. Such are the 10,000s of Ephraim, such are the thousands of Manasseh." About Zebulun he said, "Rejoice, Zebulun, in your going out, and you, Issachar, in your tents. They summon peoples to the mountain and there offer the sacrifices of the righteous. They feast on the abundance of the seas and the treasures hidden in the sand." About Gad he said, "Blessed is he who enlarges Gad's domain. Gad lives there like a lion, tearing at arm or crown. He chose the best part for himself. The portion of the lawgiver is reserved. He came with the leaders of the people. He carried out the Lord's righteous will and his judgments concerning Israel." About Dan he said, "Dan is a lion's cub, leaping out of Bashan." About Naphtali he said, "Naphtali is abounding with favor of the Lord and is full of his blessing. He is blessed by the Lord with the best of the earth and the fullness of the sea." About Asher he said, "Most blessed of sons is Asher. Let him be favored by his brothers, and let him bathe his feet in oil. The bolts of your gates will be iron and bronze, and your strength will equal your days. There is no one like the God of Jeshurun, who rides on the heavens to help you, and on the clouds in his majesty. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. He will drive out your enemy before you, saying, 'Destroy him.' Israel then will live in safety alone. Jacob's spring is secure in a land of grain and new wine, where the heavens dropped you. Blessed are you, Israel, who is like you, a people saved by the Lord. He is your shield and helper and your glorious sword. Your enemies will submit to you, and you will tread on their high places." Deuteronomy chapter 34, verses 1 to 12. Then Moses climbed Mount Nebo from the plains of Moab to the top of Pisgah, across from Jericho. There the Lord showed him the whole land, from Gilead to Dan, all of Naphtali, the territory of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the land of Judah as far as the Mediterranean Sea, the Negev and the whole region from the valley of Jericho, the city of palms, as far as Zor. Then the Lord said to him, "This is the land I promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac and Jacob when I said, 'I will give it to your descendants.' I have let you see it with your eyes, but you will not cross over into it." And Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in Moab, as the Lord had said. He buried him in Moab, in the valley opposite Beit Peor, but to this day no one knows where his grave is. Moses was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyes were not weak nor his strength gone. The Israelites grieved for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days, until the time of weeping and mourning was over. Now Joshua son of Nun was filled with the spirit of wisdom, because Moses had laid his hands on him. So the Israelites listened to him and did what the Lord had commanded Moses. Since then, no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, who did all those signs and wonders the Lord sent him to do in Egypt, to Pharaoh and to all his officials and to his whole land. For no one has ever shown the mighty power or performed the awesome deeds that Moses did in the sight of all Israel.